Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is a really exciting one because these are some of my favorite videos to film. Like I always say about every single one of my videos, but I guess that's good. But I know that you guys really like these videos, and it is conspiracy theories that I'm too scared to believe because a lot of conspiracy theories really creep me out. All right, so the first one that I want to talk about is kind of going to be a debrief. I'm sure that a lot of you have seen it, but recently Shane Dawson posted a video where he talks about how a lot of people think that hidden cameras are set up in Airbnbs and hotels and record like guests without them knowing, basically. And the reason I wanted to talk about it, because I'm not gonna like debrief his conspiracy on it, it's basically just that, like, you know, hidden cameras are very easy to hide, and you know, it's probably likely, and there has been many cases in Airbnb history, hotel history, where guests have been recorded without their knowledge. But something that he said that like sparked my interest like a lot was about the Nest cameras, which essentially, if you guys don't know, if you don't change the default password on your Nest camera, then I think like many people, anyone that knows, could have access to it, which is definitely really fucking creepy and really scary. Like, there was like a whole thing where like a baby was like in his crib, and like all of a sudden like his parents heard like a deep like male voice coming from his Nest being like, I'm gonna kidnap your baby. He even like changed the air temperature because like the Nest is like all connected to like cameras and temperature, and even changed the temperature to like 90 degrees, which could obviously hurt the baby. Obviously very terrifying. However, what I will say is that I feel like most people, I don't know, I guess I know that my parents would, like people who have like a sense of how easy it is to hack into security systems would think to change the default password because it's their own house and they want to be protected, obviously. However, this is where it got me. A lot of Airbnb hosts don't actually live in the house that they're renting on Airbnb. For example, and this is why like this whole conspiracy really freaked me out, is because I was in LA staying with a bunch of my friends at a really big house, like a mansion. It was like a $3 million house. I know that the owner doesn't live there, and a lot of Airbnbs are like that. Like so many different Airbnbs have a mansion that maybe they used to live in, or they never even lived in, they kind of just bought it as an investment and maybe will live in later, and they rent it out on Airbnb. T is like, I feel like they definitely put the security cameras that were in this house, which they disclosed, had no problem with there being security cameras. I feel like they put the security cameras in specifically just for the fact that they were renting their house out on Airbnb, because basically like the cameras were in the front yard and the backyard, and I feel like it would make sense to have cameras in the front yard, but you basically could not reach the backyard without like going through the house. So like, I don't know, I guess it's still precaution to have them there. So I really do think that they, like, just in a personal opinion, I think that they had them for Airbnb purpose only. So if like an Airbnb host is setting up cameras only because they want to like protect their house, why would they change the default password? Like I feel like that's definitely a situation that could just like slip their mind. Like, I don't know, see, like it's hard for me because I guess like my dad is like a computer technologist, so he knows how easy it is to like hack a security camera. Like he doesn't know how to do it, I don't think. I'm sure, I like know he changed like the password on our cameras and stuff. Somebody who like doesn't really like know stuff about that, like I feel like, and it's just for Airbnb, it's not even for like their own, you know, like they're not being filmed, it's also only outside. Like why would they change the default password, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's just something they want to set up to make sure that their house is protected, and they don't really care where the feed goes. Not to think that they like maliciously, or like thousands of creepy men are gonna like fucking jack off to this footage later. Like I don't think they think like that, but like I think they probably think like we're just setting it up real quick. Like who needs to change the default password? Basically what I was told is that there was cameras monitoring the front yard and the backyard, but that's kind of all I was told. But it did say like that it was a Nest camera in the backyard. So I was definitely, I mean, I didn't know about this conspiracy. This was a while ago, so I didn't know about this conspiracy yet. But it was definitely a Nest camera in the backyard. And I just thought it was going to be like overlooking the entire backyard. but there was actually like a control room in the house. My friends Mandy and Paige, they had to sleep in this like loft moment in between the two stairs. It was literally like a room in between the stairs. It was like kind of weird, but like it was like on a landing in between like two flights of stairs. It was like a 3-story house. So like in between landing, like there was like a room, and it was like a whole control room that you had to go through to get to the loft room that had like 2 beds. In the control room to like the right, I remember like looking, and it's just like a ton of monitors with basically live feeds of the house, of the backyard and the front yard. But like the backyard is specifically just on the hot tub, which to me makes sense as an Airbnb owner. Like I don't think the Airbnb owners are creepy by any means, like at all. Like I don't think that was like the vibe of this Airbnb owner. But I more so think it's because a lot of people like just do crazy shit in hot tubs. Like, I mean, having sex, I guess it's not that crazy, but like smoking and like drinking and like, you know, like getting crazy in the fucking hot tub. Like if there was a party at this place, something like that. So I get why they would have it on there. However, like my friends are fucking like 21-year-old girls. They all went in the hot tub in their bathing suits. And I just think it's kind of weird to think like, what if like this is being live streamed somewhere? Like not even because of the owner or because of anything else, but just because maybe they didn't change their default password, because it's like they just set it up there to protect from the other Airbnb guests like that are staying at their house. Like they don't even care because it's not even their actual house. Like no one stays there besides Airbnb guests. It really made me think, and it really freaked me out, and I felt the need to share it because like not only do you have to worry about that, because like obviously if you stay at a good Airbnb, I would say 99% of the time they disclose cameras. That's the only situation that I've had where I've stayed in an Airbnb where there was a camera that I knew about. So like not only do you have to worry about there being hidden cameras in Airbnbs, because of course that's a thing that you might not even realize while you're staying there, which is actually very creepy. But also you have to worry about, oh, okay, these people are being really sweet and nice and telling me that there's a Nest camera in their backyard. I can see what the camera sees in this control room. Not a big deal, super cool. Great, like just no one have sex in the hot tub. If they didn't change the default password on that, then anybody can have access to it. That just really creeps me out, because obviously some people on Airbnb probably have Nest cameras that they disclose that are in the common areas, like Shane was saying, like the living room and stuff. And you know, like you might be like, well, who the fuck cares if this Airbnb host sees me like in my underwear going to the bathroom or having sex on the couch? You might not care. But like thousands of creepy ass dudes could potentially see it if they did not change their default password, which in my head, I don't know why a lot of them would, because if you're just setting it up to go along your business and, you know, just to protect your house that you literally do not even live in, like these cameras are not for your house, they're not for like you, they're just for monitoring Airbnb. I feel like it would be a common thing to like not even think to change the password. So I don't know, if you're an Airbnb host and you have cameras for your own safety and you know that's cool, I think I don't have really a problem with it. Just please change the fucking password on your Nest, or don't even get a Nest, get a different camera. Nest like sues me. I'm kidding, don't. I think it's weird because the place that I stayed in, like obviously it was just me and my girls, like my friends, like so like what would they see, like just 21-year-olds in their bathing suits in the hot tub? Like I don't know, it's not a big deal, but like I'm sure that more risque things have happened in that hot tub. So next conspiracy that I want to talk about that I'm too afraid to believe revolves around the coronavirus. So obviously like when a big thing like this happens in the world, people talk about it, a lot of people create conspiracies about it. Personally, I don't really believe. I've seen like the book conspiracy that like someone predicted it in a book from like 1970 or 1981, I think, and I don't necessarily believe that. So I'm not gonna be talking about that even, but you know, either way, the coronavirus has been terrible. It's so scary and just really, really sad as well, because I feel like you don't really realize, like obviously, like yeah, we're scared. People in China who are dealing with this like way harder, like the hospitals are crazy, like people have to self-isolate basically and self-quarantine if they don't have the virus, so like they just have to stay in, and like I'm sure they're running out of food. It's just probably really, really terrible and like really sad. So I want to point that out before I talk about that. Like obviously we are scared, we don't want it to like spread. It's really, really terrible, and it's really scary just in general. Either way, like I said, I've seen countless amounts of conspiracy theories surrounding this virus. There's a few that I think are completely stupid. There's a few that I really do believe, and there's a few that I am too scared to believe. So we're gonna talk about those. The first one that I don't really believe is that actually I don't really at all believe is that the virus was created as a form of population control. That just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't really believe that. This one I thought was just absurd, but I thought it was kind of funny that people actually think this, is that the virus, it wasn't created for anything, but like is being spread to America and to states that are Democratic, so that Trump wins the election. Democrats will be too scared to go out to vote, which makes absolutely no sense, and it's so stupid, and I cannot believe how often I have seen this conspiracy. It is absurd. I've seen it a lot, like all over Twitter, all over like everything. Theoretically, if this were to be a true conspiracy, if they were like, oh, okay, we'll start in California because obviously that's a very liberal state. Like, do you know how many people visit California that like aren't liberal? A lot. And then like also they'll, if they got sick and they brought it back to like their fucking Texas, then like that's a red state. So like that theory was dumb, but I felt like I had to address it because of how often I saw it and how often I was sent it. The last two conspiracies about this are the two that I believe. Well, one is more hopeful and one I hope for, but the second is the one that scares me to believe. So I'll say the hopeful one first. I think that it's a possibility that the media makes it seem a lot worse than it is. In the sense of what I mean by it's not as bad as it seems is like, first of all, that it's not as spreadable as what Twitter makes it seem and like mainstream media, I guess. Because if you like look at CDC, if you like listen to like actual doctors talk about this and actual disease, like infectious disease specialists talk about this, you will feel way more calm and way less crazy and stressed out about it. Like, it's definitely still something very important that's happening. It's still very bad and it's like not good. Less high risk than you would think, than like what the media makes it seem. Basically is like it's making it seem super overhyped, and like you can catch it just by like being within 50 feet of somebody who has a whole very scary thing, which they tend to do because usually these viruses will spike up and then disappear, seems like out of nowhere. But I can't say it's not as big of a deal because obviously there are people dying, it's a big deal, but it's like as big of a deal as the flu essentially. But they like obviously just make it seem so scary with like everyone wearing protection masks. Basically that it probably spreads less quickly. Like a lot of people think it's airborne, but according to CDC it's not. According to CDC it's the droplet, which is if like someone has it, coughs on you and you ingest that or put it in your eyes, nose, or mouth, that would be how you could get it. So similar to how the flu spreads, which if you think about it, like people are like, then how is everything spreading so rapidly on the cruise ship, blah, blah, blah. But the cruise ship, you have to think, if you've ever been on a cruise, there are buffets, there's everything on a cruise everyone touches. It is very, very unsanitary if there's a virus. You know, like if you, like the norovirus, which is basically the throw up thing, is what my family has called it. Most people call it the stomach flu, the worst. Like but you just like throw up for 24 hours or shit for 24 hours, either way. That spreads like wildfire on a cruise, and it is not an airborne illness. It's not an airborne virus. It's not anything airborne. People are like, but the cruise proves that like it's airborne. I'm like, it doesn't. It just proves that cruises are unsanitary, kind of. Not that they're bad, because cruises are fine, but like obviously if somebody has a virus, then like it can spread very quickly because of buffet style, which obviously people are touching every part, like, you know, the spoons, the forks, the ice cream machines, like everything. I would say it's pretty easy for a virus to spread like that on a cruise, even if it's not airborne, because norovirus is literally not airborne, and there have been situations where everyone on the cruise will get it, and that's just how it is. Personally, what I think is that I think that CDC kind of like lowers how bad it is, but I think the media, like Twitter, hypes up how bad it is, if that makes sense. Like I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. Like it's still definitely bad, it's still definitely killing people. I think that the media, specifically Twitter, likes to cause panic, but then I also think CDC likes to try to refrain from causing panic. So I think it's like probably somewhere in the middle of what you're hearing. Like I don't think it's so like vast, but I also don't think it's so minimal that like what CDC says. So I don't know, but what do you guys think? The next one we're going to be talking about is one that I'm afraid of, which is that it's actually worse than what the media makes it seem, or like what CDC makes it seem. I guess would be like, it means that it's as bad as what Twitter makes it seem. I would say that the only reason this is a possibility is because it still stresses me out that at the time I'm recording this, the US has only tested 400 people for coronavirus, even though like the UK has tested over 6,000 people, and you know, there's less cases of it in the UK. I don't know why like we're not testing people. A lot of people think we're not testing people because if you don't test people, they just have the flu. And we're not in crisis, so I don't know. And also, it does scare me a little bit because I know that like media and like CDC and everyone like knows more than what is being told. That made me panic a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I'll go through phases where I think it's like okay and that like everything's gonna be fine, and then I'll go through phases where I literally am panicking about this, just because it is a possibility. I mean, theoretically, if only 400 people have been tested, there could be a lot more people who have it and are spreading it and are just being told it's the flu. That's horrifying, like, to be honest. Like, that's actually really scary. I think if the US was taking a better grip about this, I would feel a little bit better. I do find it to be interesting because it's like potentially way worse than what we're told on like the news and like by CDC and by like the World Health Organization, so that's kind of creepy. But at the same time, when you listen to doctors, like I feel like that really calms me down, but like, I don't know. It's kind of a conspiracy I'm too afraid to believe. Is basically that they're lying to us and that it's way worse than it is. Which is a possibility, it is, but that's also a possibility for it to be the opposite way and to be not as bad. But like, that's what's so scary about it, is because we don't know. Like, we actually really don't know. Last conspiracy theory that I'm gonna be talking about came to me on accident. I was just researching some conspiracy theories and I saw this and I was like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck? I have no explanation for this. I don't know how or why they would do this. And also, I've never seen it. Like, no one has ever come to me being like, have you seen this conspiracy theory? Which is pretty crazy because usually you guys send me a lot of conspiracy theories on like Instagram, and I don't think I've ever been sent this, which is pretty crazy to me because I think this is wild. And if anyone has a reasonable explanation, I would love to hear it. If you type in Illuminati backwards and add .com and press enter, it takes you to NSA's official website, which is the National Security Agency. I don't have a reason as to why it would do that. Why would it do that? You guys know damn well that I do not think that the Illuminati is celebrities. I don't. That is my personal opinion. I don't think that it includes celebrities. Some people think that they use celebrities to their advantage, which I think is a possibility. I think it's more government officials, if it were to be real, more government, more National Security Agency, more CIA, stuff like that. And this is what's kind of confusing to me, because if this thing does exist, I imagine that it has an unimaginable amount of power and influence and basically gets whatever it wants, which is kind of scary. If they were using celebrities for their good, obviously the 2016 election is like an example to me of how they wouldn't be using celebrities, because if they were, or maybe they did and it just didn't work and they can't control the general population. But obviously a lot of celebrities, a lot of Hollywood people were speaking out against Trump and telling you to vote for Hillary in 2016. So obviously Trump became president. Is that what the Illuminati wanted? Like, in my head, I'm like, obviously, like, they would just get whatever they want. If they were using celebrities to their advantage, they would have wanted Hillary to be president, and I feel like they would have been able to make it happen. So now part of me thinks that it's completely beyond Democrat and Republican, and that they have like a way bigger plan, like, of what they want for this country, which is kind of terrifying to even think about, because I think it's beyond that. Because obviously I think that whoever, like, in my mind, if this Illuminati is real, I think whoever they want to be president and whoever they want to be elected as different officials in the government will happen. Like, I think that's where it's interesting to me, is like what if the entire like thing of voting day is just like a fucking scam? Like, nothing ever actually matters because they already have a pre-selected winner, and like, it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, it's just whatever fits what they're trying to do right now. And that's pretty fucking scary, because what the hell could they be trying to do that they would need Trump as president? But anyway, I just think that's pretty scary to think about. Not that that means that I'm telling you to not vote. Go vote, I don't care. Either way, I just think it's an interesting and terrifying conspiracy, because like, I cannot like imagine how corrupt the government like really is, just because based on like how I know like separate like little police departments are corrupt as fuck, and like when police like cause crimes, like it will be covered up, and it's so scary to me, and that freaks me out. But that's just police department. Like what is, like the government is so powerful and so scary that this like genuinely terrifies me, because I have to like just think about it in the way of like different celebrities who did try to speak out against the Illuminati like were killed. Or died in suspicious ways, I guess you could say, like Michael Jackson, Prince, Brittany Murphy. John Lennon is like a really important one, because John Lennon basically just like spread like an anti-war movement while he was here in America, and that's like not what the government wanted at the time, and the president even tried to deport him several times, although it didn't work, and then of course he was murdered. So I don't know. It's just really interesting to think about. Like, do they use celebrities to fulfill their propaganda? I just would say probably not, and like, because they can get whatever they want regardless of what celebrities do or say. So I just don't know. I just don't know, and it's really, really scary to think about, because I'm like, why? Do we actually have a say? Like, is that their goal, to make it like a dictatorship where we don't even like get to choose really who is president? Sometimes that freaks me out a lot, because I just like think of the power of the Illuminati, and like if it were real, like the power that it would hold would be enough to be able to choose whichever candidate they want. I don't know. Like, I am at a loss of words pretty much because of how much it genuinely creeps me out if this were true. And the fact that like National Security Agency's website, just if you type in Illuminati backwards, it takes you to it. Like, I just don't even know. That's some fucking zoesballoon.com shit where it takes you to iCarly's website. Like, what? I just like I literally don't understand. I just don't. That's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. It literally freaks me out so fucking much. I don't have any words, but what are your guys' thoughts on these conspiracy theories? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that is it. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about these conspiracy theories. Like I said, I would love to read your opinions. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, because I'm always posting really dope ass shit on there. Subscribe for new videos every week, and I will see you guys later. Bye.